We came, we saw, and I made sure we conquered SCGCon Houston. Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Agent Paco, and my wife Cheyenne and I were able to be a part of the team this weekend at SCGCon Houston, teaching all the Learn to Plays and helping out judging at the convention. And honestly, I have nothing but incredibly positive things to say about the experience. So I wanted to make a video kind of recap the event for those who weren't there, or for those who were there. Hello, good to see you. It was really cool meeting the people who were there for Sorcery and all the people who were there maybe for Magic or another game who we kind of were able to pull over and become a part of the Sorcery cult that we have really started here. So I'm excited to talk about it. I'm also excited to talk about how the weekend actually feels from a player's perspective, from a worker's perspective, and how logistically it was actually set up. So whether you've been to SCGCon in the past, or this is really the first introduction to SCGCon for the upcoming Baltimore and Las Vegas cons, this is going to be the perfect video for you. So let's just get started with how the con is actually set up. So all the SCG cons, they kind of travel around North America putting on tournaments. They have vendors, they have Learn to Plays for a bunch of games, and it's just a free convention for people to come and interact with a bunch of different card games. One thing I will say about SCGCon in particular is it's definitely player focused. I would say 80% of the people that are there were kind of in the Texas area, since we were in Houston, and were coming for the Magic big $10,000 tournament. But Sorcery, this being the first con that Sorcery has been a part of, was the second biggest game, which honestly blew my mind. So the Sorcery Crossroads tournament on Saturday, the main event, if you will, had about 72 to 74 people sign up for that event. Well, Flesh and Blood, which was kind of the third biggest event of the weekend, only had like 38 people in their main event on Saturday. Obviously, Magic had the most amount of people, but we were in second, which is honestly massive, I feel like, especially considering, like I said, this is the first one. The other conventions, Baltimore and Vegas, seem to honestly already have more signups than Houston, just maybe based on the location that those are in. So if this is the bottom and it's only going up, then what a way to start, right? And honestly, I'm just excited to have been a part of that and kind of see all that unfold. The energy was super high. Again, whether you were there for Sorcery, whether you were there for a different event, I think it was undeniable that the Sorcery area was packed from open to close. Again, I was there from open to close working the event, and literally we had to, on Sunday, when it closed at 6 p.m., it was like 6:30, and we were having to be like, okay, time to pack it up. We gotta go. This is the last session. Like, we gotta tear the booth down and go home. Literally, we were there until the buzzer rang. So, again, I know I'm like speaking super highly, but it really was an incredible experience. The people that I met were super nice working at the event. The SCGCon people were awesome. Shout out to Ben, who was kind of the leader over all the games. He was great to work with. All the other judges that were there for Sorcery as well, Justin and Zach, y'all were amazing. And then Drew and Jesse, who worked for Sorcery, who were there. They were there selling Dragon Lord, facilitating the events, helping with rules questions, making some content of their own. Hopefully that'll get posted on the Sorcery channel in the future. Wink, wink. But it was a great time. So there's a lot of different things you can do at the con. So I kind of want to go through what it actually looked like, right? So I ran the Learn to Plays. Those were open from 11 to 7, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. They were free. You could just walk up. We were grabbing people kind of just walking by. Hey, check out Sorcery. Check out Sorcery. Come over here. And it was pretty undeniable with the banners. We had a big setup that said Learn to Play Sorcery. A lot of the cards, big banners, Dragon Lord, everything. And it really caught people's attention. So it was a great way to introduce people to the game. We played with the pre-cons and kind of just taught a bunch of people how to play the game. But if you were there, you already knew what Sorcery was. There were a ton of events to interact with throughout the weekend. So the first day, and this will be the same for Baltimore and for Vegas, so this is maybe just good information if you're going to those cons, if you want to know how the weekend kind of flowed, right? So right when you walk in on Friday, first event is the limited championship. So there are two types of events at these cons. There are champion events and community events. Now, the community events are definitely not as competitive. They're more casual. They're meant to give you prize tickets for participation. And we'll talk about what to do with those prize tickets and what's on the prize wall in a second. But basically, if you do those events, you get 50 tickets per round just for being there. So there were pre-con events every single day to introduce people to the game and play with a pre-con. There were the team sealed event on Sunday was like a community event, a little more casual. And then there was a constructed event on Friday afternoon that was also a community event that was more casual constructed, maybe to test out some decks before the big event on Saturday. So the first thing on Friday was the champion event, which was limited. So they did do a sealed and then top cut to a draft for the limited championship. Honestly, I wasn't really interacting. That was on the complete opposite side of the convention center in a separate play space. So there are definitely other channels that will hopefully break down. I know Duo was taking some video of his matches during that tournament. Some other people were videoing themselves as well. So definitely stay tuned for some other content creators to post exactly what happened at the limited championship. But I will say, just for your reference, everybody got, I believe it was 4 packs of AL, 2 packs of beta to make their sealed pool. So it was both sets. And then in the draft, they did 2 packs of AL, 1 pack of beta. I believe it was AL, beta, AL for the pack order of a draft at the top cut, right? So when they went to top 8. So that was the limited championship. You got not participation points for the limited championship, you got actual placement points. So the better you did, the more tickets you got. Now it's a great time to talk about the prize wall, because what can you actually do with all these tickets, right? So the big thing on the prize wall that Sorcery fans are going to want is the playmat. The City of Glass is a playmat that's only available by going to the convention, and I'm not talking about the promo card here. I'm talking about the playmat. So the promo card will actually be released in the future on SCGCon, StarCityGames.com. They're going to have a bundle with Gothic, apparently, and that will include the promo card. So stay tuned on that, but this was the playmat, and that costs 450 tickets for the 2-player playmat. Everybody over the whole weekend was playing on the playmat, so it was super cool to see a bunch of tables just lined with the new bright red, beautiful playmats. If you saw on Instagram, they were posting content of what that kind of looked like, and it was just super cool to see, but you can get it for 450 tickets. Is that a lot of tickets? Is that not a lot? Well, let's kind of break down how tickets work. So like I said, you get 50 tickets for playing in the community events. On the first day, the first community event is the constructed community event, and it's actually double tickets. So 3 rounds, 100 tickets each round, so that's 300 tickets. And then the next event on Friday, the last event of the day, if you're not going to participate in the limited, is the pre-con event. You get 50 each round, 3 rounds. That's 150. So then 300 plus 150 is 450. You get the playmat on the first day. So if you want to grind, if you're not considering doing the limited, maybe you do a couple rounds and then you drop out because you didn't have a good deck or whatever, you're able to pick up the playmat just on Friday, and then you can focus all on the Crossroads and all on Sunday, and the rest of whatever you want to do without having to worry. There were some other prizes on the wall, though, if you did place high, if you got a bunch of tickets. There was a couple boxes of Dragon Lord. I want to say that was 2,000 tickets, which is a lot of tickets, to be honest. There was, I think, beta precons, beta boxes, boosters, and also the highlight was 3,000 tickets. They threw 1 welcome kit. The store welcome kit you could only get if a store basically signed up and was lucky to get one for free. They haven't even shipped them yet, it seems like. So this is really one of the first ones on the market. But for 3,000 tickets, you can get the welcome kit. There was only one. I think it was more of a meme, like a joke, like, oh, can anybody get this? It would be funny type situation. And it was a cool prize, in my opinion. If you don't know what the welcome kit is, it's a really cool box. I just think the box is cool, but it comes with a beta box, an AL box, a bunch of cat promos, cat playmats that are limited. And again, it's just like an interesting prizing option to throw on the wall. Now, 3,000 tickets, like I said, is a ton of tickets. If you win the Crossroads, you get 2,000. So you got to win basically multiple events in order to get it. And it took 4 people pooling their tickets together. Shout out to Pork Chop and the other guys who pooled all their tickets to buy the welcome kit on Friday night. So they all did pretty well in the limited and got other tickets from throughout the rest of the day and were able to get the big prize. So that was cool to see. Again, like, it's just kind of a fun one-off thing, and I assume there will be one at each of the upcoming conventions, but maybe not. Maybe there was only one. I'm not really sure. I can't speak to that, but it was cool to see. So those are kind of what the prizing looks like. There was also the ability to buy Dragon Lord, so don't fear. If you want to buy Dragon Lord at these events, it is available, and in my opinion, it is readily available. If you compete in the Limited or the Crossroads, you get a wristband that allows you to purchase your box of Dragon Lord, your daily government-allocated rations, if you will, of Dragon Lord. But it's also available just to buy, even if you're not competing. You can go up. Drew sets up a little booth at 2 times during the day. Ours were at noon and 4 p.m. I believe the Baltimore website said 11 and 3, if I'm not mistaken. So you can just line up and buy Dragon Lord. I will say, I was able to get a Dragon Lord each day. It did not run out. It did not sell out. And it seemed like anybody who wanted one was able to get one. So if you are coming to the event, if you haven't gotten any Dragon Lord because it's not been readily available, now is the time to get it. The other thing you get are the swaps. So, if you know what this is, they did make a cool video where they played with people swapped cards, but this is a promo you can only get at the conventions. It's an alt art upcoming Gothic card by Drew Tucker, and the way you get it is you literally sign one of your favorite cards and swap it with Drew or Jesse or whoever's holding the binder, and they'll give you the swap card. Now, this was 1 per day, so you could get a playset, 3 copies, if you go Friday, Saturday, and Sunday and swap a card. And honestly, I really, really highly recommend you actually think about it and maybe put some thought into what 3 cards you want to swap. They were even doing some videos asking people, oh, why are you giving this card? Is there like a story behind why you're swapping? Like, why is this the card that you chose? And so I would maybe, it was a fun little sentimental experiment to think about and do, and really the coolest thing, in my opinion, to come out of this convention. So I would definitely take some time before you go, pick 3 cards. They don't have to be valuable. They can be ordinaries, whatever. But I saw people doing foils and, like, again, if they had a cool story, telling that story to Drew and then receiving the swap. And it was just a very memorable experience. So definitely do that. I encourage everybody to get all 3 swaps because now, again, is the only time you can really get them, apart from the secondary market where they are a little expensive, but they're kind of handing them out. So I would definitely use this time. The other thing I got that is pretty cool for judging is the limited Gothic Alt Art Day of Judgment. So I got a cool little promo for being a part of the team, helping judge, and that was really exciting. I collect the promos. I have them all kind of behind me and around me, as well as the art, obviously. So I love the art. I love the promo. I was really pumped to get that. And again, thank you for that. The last promo you do receive, this is from competing in the Crossroads, is the Lone Tower by Atlas Thorn, the special alt art tower promo from North America. If you compete in Europe or Asia, Australia, you get the Gothic or the Dark Tower. America gets the Lone Tower. To get all 3, you either have to trade with somebody in another country or place, I want to say top 4 in the Crossroads, you get all 3. So let's talk about the Crossroads. On Saturday, the main event is the Crossroads tournament. They did 7 rounds because of the amount of people that signed up, and there was no break for lunch. It was 7 hours of pure, unadulterated sorcery, baby. I don't know if that's how you say that, but yeah, it was all sorcery all day. They cut to a top 8 that went to Sunday, and then they did the top 8 on Sunday. And they did record the final match that hopefully will be coming out in a future video. So stay tuned for, I know people are making content about deck breakdowns. The highlight of the weekend was Lucy, who was, shout out to Pete. I met him and his family. He's a super great guy who was at the tournament, and all his kids play sorcery. And Lucy is his daughter, who I believe is 12, and literally plays 4th, 3rd or 4th in the tournament. She had the Avatar of Earth. It was the talk. Everybody on kind of Discord and Facebook who wasn't at the convention was like, oh, we're rooting for Lucy. Oh my gosh. And whenever she was playing, there was kind of a crowd just to see what would happen. And she took down some pretty great games and wound up getting the first ever rainbow foil Avatar of Earth as the prize for placing in that top cut. So shout out to her. Shout out to Pete and his family. Y'all are amazing. And Pete himself also placed in that top 4 as well. So, I mean, that's just a family of winners right there. I mean, come on. Well, you can't even say anything about that. So that was amazing. Shout out to Duo, who wound up winning the Crossroads. He won Gen Con Crossroads. He comes to Houston and wins Houston Crossroads. So, again, hey, credit where credit is due, baby. Again, like I said, I was judging a little bit, but mostly I was in the Learn to Play section, so I don't have crazy insight to the games. Maybe check out some other people for that content. But there were a couple other things to do on Saturday. If you weren't playing in the Crossroads, or if you didn't make the top cut, if you dropped out, whatever, there were a couple more of those pre-con casual community tournaments that you could do. That's also a perfect time to go see some of the artists. So we had Brian Wackwitz, Liz Danforth, Jeff Laubenstein, and a bunch of other Magic artists that were there, and it was really cool to kind of talk to some of the artists. Brian gifted Cheyenne one of his playmats, Varmint Warren, so thank you, Brian. You're a great guy, super chill dude, and Cheyenne says thank you for that. So that was awesome he was doing some APs at the Druid. Liz was talking it up. And honestly, I got a lot of people over at the Learn to Play section who got referred to Sorcery by Liz, who was just like, hey, I do Sorcery now. Go check them out. They'll teach you what that's about. So thank you, Liz, for the layup there. And we hopefully slam dunk that, because the people who showed up to the Learn to Plays on all 3 days were amazing. We taught 70 people how to play Sorcery, guys. And I don't know, that's not a crazy number or whatever, but to me that's a crazy number, because that's 70 players who came to a con basically to play Magic, and then got drug over here and spent 30 minutes to an hour with me and my wife learning how to play a game that really isn't like Magic at all. You know, it's kind of more of a chess-like board game, if anything. And they fell in love. Not a single person walked away being like, that was stupid. People either said, I love the art, I love the gameplay, it meshes super well, it's a great secondary game. Oh, I want this to be my main game. I hate Magic, Sorcery's I'm all in, you know? Like, we literally ran out of precons to sell. They were selling precons and we sold out by Saturday. So, hey, maybe that's feedback. Bring some more precons, Drew and Jesse, to Baltimore and Vegas, because we were going through them. People wanted to learn the game. They wanted to interact with the game more after the Learn to Play, and even signed up for the precon events, the Team Sealed event on Sunday. People were signing up straight off the Learn to Play session. So, again, shout out to everybody who made that possible. All the guys who donated bulk to the Learn to Play table, that was amazing. We were helping them build decks out of bulk so they could take home something for free from the con. And yeah, great experience. I literally can't say anything negative about that. Going into Sunday, like I said, there was a top cut for the Crossroads. There was another pre-con event. And then the Team Sealed is really fun. So if you don't know what the Team Sealed is, you get in teams of 3, and they'll pair you if you don't have one. But if you do, you can pick your team. You get each 4 packs of AL, 2 packs of Beta, so 18 packs, 24 packs total. 18 packs total, sorry, I can't do math. And you can pull all your cards together and collaborate and make 3 decks, and then y'all play games against other teams. And, you know, if you, based on how many of you win, you get points for your team, and then that determines the placement for your team and how much dust you get, blah, blah, blah. And that was honestly just a very unique event. I actually was able to help some new guys off the Learn to Play compete in the Team Sealed and help them build a sealed deck for the first time, what cards to look out for, some bombs, what to maybe not look out for, what to do. And that was, again, shout out to the father and son duo. You guys are amazing, and it was awesome to let me kind of help you really start your Sorcery journey, right? So I say all that to say there are a lot of different ways to interact with Sorcery at these conventions. If you're at all interested, it's free. Come to Baltimore this weekend as I post this video. Come to Vegas next month. It's right before Gothic. It's the perfect time to jump in. New precons, new boxes, ton of new cards. The energy is high, and I'm kind of flying high. You know, I was able to pick up, like I said, some Dragon Lord. So again, this is a great time to get that product. And then being a part of the team, I also got this cool little SCGCon pin, or it's like a medal almost, you know, like a coin, commemorative coin. So I'm going to keep this up here with the rest of my sorcery stuff. So from me and Cheyenne to everybody I met, to everybody who I hopefully will see in Baltimore, because I'm going to be in Baltimore, please come say what's up. Come kick it with me this weekend. And let's just keep spreading sorcery.